The first time I went to therapy, I was a junior in college. I loved the distraction that drinking gave me from my functioning depression. But I hated the feelings that followed me home the morning after. I felt ashamed, fragile, and suicidal. Those feelings, piled on top of childhood trauma, abandonment issues, and a lack of self-worth, led me straight to the therapy office on my college campus. My suicidal thoughts had become so increasingly overwhelming that I knew that I was going to commit suicide if I didn't talk to someone. I didn't actually want to take my life, but the pain from all of this shit was too much to bear. Something had to die off. It was me or the pain. The pain felt like it was suffocating me and closing in on my life expectancy. Most of my suicidal thoughts came after drinking 5 to 7 UV lemonades and throwing back several lemon drop shots. At the end of the night, I would lie on the floor of my bathroom, curled up and convulsively crying with a bottle of aspirin in my hand. Therapy was free in college back in 2006. I mean, that's the least they could do for the thousands of dollars I paid to take gen ed classes like TV broadcasting and humanities. I made an appointment with the first available therapist. All I knew was that you talk to a therapist when you aren't feeling right. When I first sat down in the therapist's office, I felt relieved that I was going to be getting help. I was excited that I would get to divulge all the shit I had been holding on to since I was 14. I was ready to trauma dump like Bob the Builder. The therapist went over the therapy protocols and then started with the infamous, "So what brings you in today?" Nonchalantly, I said, "I'm fucking a lot of dudes and no one loves me, but I want to be loved." I said it with a smile on my face, very incongruent with how I was feeling on the inside. On the inside, I was feeling insignificant, exposed, and anxious. But I always appeased my depression with a smile. "Tell me more," she said. Not really knowing what she wanted to hear, I just rambled. And then, just like that, the session was over. I went back to my dorm and I thought to myself, that was whack. Underwhelming and insignificant. I didn't go back to therapy for another 7 years. Looking back, I realized I didn't know that I could choose my therapist, or even that I might have to see several therapists before I found the right one. I didn't know that how I felt leaving the session was a part of the process. I didn't know what expectations I had of therapy, but I did know what had happened wasn't right for me. I felt even more shamed and damaged after the session. Yet I walked away from that experience with a greater sense of purpose, to change my major from theater to psychology. If I couldn't find a therapist to vibe with, I knew I couldn't be the only person feeling that way. That's what led me to getting my master's degree in educational psychology and eventually becoming a licensed professional clinical counselor in Minnesota. My bad. I should probably introduce myself. I'm Shani Tran, a licensed professional clinical counselor in Minnesota and a licensed professional counselor in Arizona. I strive to create a safe place for you to own your mental health journey. I do this by dancing on TikTok and sharing vulnerable life lessons on Instagram. I have been in the mental health field since I was 18 years old. I'm currently 35. If you see me on social media, you will probably say, "You don't look 35. Yes, I know. Black don't crack. But my husband would prefer you not gas me up too much. Over the course of my career, I have looked to define therapy outside of what we see portrayed on TV and social media and in academia. The stereotype we often see is a patient sitting on a couch and a therapist listening without really caring and asking, "How does that make you feel?" Therapy is so much more than that. It's actually pretty dope. I am not referring to your recreational pharmacist definition of dope. I am referring to the urban slang version of dope. The slang version of dope means good, excellent, or nice, and can be used to describe basically anything. For example, "Yo, those shoes are dope." Or, "What you did for me the other day was dope."